Coming up, Tzu Chi volunteers distribute rice from Taiwan to 2,100 needy families in Haiti. We meet cerebral palsy sufferer Lin Hongyin to see how he overcomes his disability to compose poems. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Now. Thank you for joining us. Recently, 180 tons of rice donated by the Taiwan Council of Agriculture finally arrived in Haiti. Tzu Chi volunteers quickly delivered the much-needed rice to local charity organizations and impoverished communities. The volunteers also organized a large-scale rice distribution where 2,100 households went home with smiles on their faces. Police cars, fences, and barbed wire. This is Haiti, a country with high crime rate. It is also a cultivation ground for Tzu Chi volunteers. This time, the rice distribution aimed to assist 2,100 underprivileged families from the Boston and La Saline districts. To ensure the smooth running of the event, Tzu Chi volunteers made sure each household received their allotted bag of rice.
I'm extremely happy to see residents go home with bags of rice and smiles on their faces. They won't have to go to sleep on empty stomachs for 2 to 3 months.
Tzu Chi volunteers also delivered 600 bags of rice to the congregation of the Sisters of St. Anne. In the future, the sisters will pass on the rice to even more needy residents.
Master Chen, thank you very much.
Overcoming the differences between faith and faith, the Tzu Chi volunteers' gestures in helping the less fortunate deeply touched many first-timers.
I'm very happy to be here today. I help people, and it's my first experience, and I would like to do it again and again. I like your job, what you are doing here. Thank you, Tzu Chi.
Thanks to the distribution, Tzu Chi volunteers not only warm the hearts and stomachs of needy residents, but also inspire many to join their ranks. After having held a large Buddha Day ceremony in Marikina City, the Philippines in May, Tzu Chi volunteers recently returned to bring 1,600 participants rice from Taiwan. We now take you to the distribution site.
In May, over 10,000 people participated in Tzu Chi's Buddha Day ceremony. In June, over 1,000 people are receiving Tzu Chi's rice. The rice from Taiwan will go on to feed 1,600 people. Since 2009's Typhoon Katrina, residents of the Philippines' Marikina City have come to know Tzu Chi very well.
This is truly a great help. We really don't have the money to buy any more rice.
Many residents are also volunteering themselves to pay the love forward, just like DaAi.
I can carry the rice without a problem, just like the men here. I want to use my own strength to help more people.
Though many residents are still living in hardship, by helping one another, life can go on easier here in Marikina.
Kaysan Dugar, a prominent entrepreneur in Nepal, and his family have been playing a key role in supporting Tzu Chi's relief efforts in the country. At Tzu Chi's most recent distribution at a tent community, Dugar's entire family gave their time and effort to serve their own.
Namaste. With a humble bow and a smile, Kishan Dugar respectfully hands a blanket over to a quake survivor. He also gives the Tzu Chi multi-purpose folding bed a try.
Sit down, please.
Sit down.
Yeah, double.
One this side, one this side.
One more here.
Good.
Dugar's wife, Jachan, also went tent to tent to check up on the residents and was happy to learn that residents were grateful to have received Tzu Chi's aid.
It's good to see they have beds and blankets now.
This charitable organization is very thankful for Nepalese people to distribute these things. This is very costly things and very good things for these people, I think.
The Dugar family has been actively involved in Tzu Chi's ongoing relief efforts in Nepal. Dugar's son, Naresh, took time out of his schedule to take part in the distribution. Visiting residents inside the tents, Naresh showed them how to operate the folding bed and explained its many functions.
I'm
so impressed, you are doing a great job for Nepal and basically for those who are earthquake victims.
For the past 2 weeks, DaAi's granddaughter has also been following in the volunteers' footsteps, helping out at distributions and extending care to those in need. Not only has she acted as a translator between the volunteers and locals, she has also proved herself to be a capable MC. Inspired by Tzu Chi's principles of love and compassion, Shristi hopes to become a Tzu Chi.
It feels so good because everything is so organized and properly done, and we're helping people from the funds that we collect from all over the world. And because of that, I really want to become the youth volunteer of Tzu Chi and wear the uniform and feel like a Tzu Chi.
Shristi's sister Bhavika fully supports her decision.
I only see people just giving it or not showing anything, so they feel like they don't feel good about themselves. But then here when we're doing it, they feel good and they feel like they actually want to be helped.
Through their efforts, Tzu Chi volunteers have inspired local residents to begin to put their love into action.
In preparation for the upcoming winter relief distributions, Tzu Chi volunteers of the South Africa chapter gathered to prepare 8 packs starting early June. Furthermore, 1,440 tons of rice from Taiwan will be distributed among 6 southern African countries, which will go towards helping impoverished residents in the region.
Since the beginning of June, volunteers of the Tzu Chi South Africa chapter have been getting together every week to pack relief items in preparation for their upcoming winter relief distributions. The paper bags used to hold all of the relief items was once used to store plastic materials. Thanks to volunteers' ingenuity, the bags are turned inside out to create a waterproof cover for the relief items. This year, Taiwan's Council of Agriculture has also sponsored 1,440 tons of rice to aid 6 southern African countries. The first batch of rice, which were sent in 41 20-foot containers, has arrived in Johannesburg and have been delivered to a container warehouse. As June marks the start of winter in South Africa, Tzu Chi volunteers will conduct a large-scale distribution for 3,000 households in Pretoria this coming weekend, and they hope this aid may help residents brave the harsh winter days ahead.
Next, we meet Xie Yazhong and his family to learn how joining the musical adaptation of the Water Repentance Sutra have inspired them to change for the better. Let's take a look.
On-stage volunteer Xie Yazhong comes from a small, beautiful fishing village, but the people there kill butterfly and dragonflies for fun.
As children, we were ignorant, and we tie a thread to the insect's tail. When it tried to fly away, we pull it back for fun. The sutra talks about ways of killing, and we made a mistake of killing for fun.
People in Xie's village also ate the living creatures in the sea and excavated the land besides polluting the rivers.
Before he adopted a vegetarian diet, he loved eating seafood, including fish, shrimp, and crabs.
Xie stopped killing for fun or committing other transgressions after he moved to the city to study.
I stopped committing these transgressions after I joined Tzu Chi and learned about cause and effect. The master said all living beings are equal.
Xie returned to the fishing village, but he now actively saves and protects living beings. In addition, his family of 5 has joined the sutra adaptation to pass on the Dharma teachings through the sign language performance.
我觉得这个是一个很难得的机缘呐，然后独处的时候相互督促、相互鼓励的时候也是一起。
Xie's children, 19-year-old Yong Hao and 18-year-old Yong Xuan, took time to prepare for the performance.
The sutra adaptation is a big challenge, so I sing the songs during my spare time or when I'm in the car.
We need to memorize 3 chapters of verses. In addition, we need to understand the songs in order to perform the sign language properly.
Xie's 15-year-old son Yongzhen tamed his bad temper after joining the sutra adaptation.
I used to complain, but I don't do that now. After joining the sutra adaptation.
After joining the sutra adaptation, the Xie family has gotten rid of their bad habits and repented for past mistakes. Seeing such changes, Xie and his wife are grateful for their children's transformation and growth.
As teenagers, as long as they are willing to follow Buddhist teachings, they will benefit tremendously in the future.
In Singapore, teachers at the Tzu Chi preschool organized a series of activities to help children realize the importance of appreciating their parents. During the event, the children had to carry their backpacks on their chests to mimic pregnancy while carrying on with their daily routine. Here's more.
Today, we'll conduct our daily routine, but with our backpacks on.
At the Tzu Chi preschool in Singapore, children from the age of 3 to 6 are trying to experience the hardship their parents go through.
Please bend down. Do you feel the same?
Through the activity, the children soon realized the difficulty their mothers endured during pregnancy. Even eating is difficult.
不舒服，身体痒的时候我不能爬，我要跟妈妈说。
I want to tell my mother that she works really hard. I'll fold the clothes, change the bed sheets, and wash the dishes.
Meanwhile, some children try their hand at making delicious meals for their parents. However, students have a hard time gripping the mushrooms and cutting the tomatoes.
那你跟老师讲哪里痛啊？很像痛，真的痛，我头一直上来。香吗？香。你希望爸爸妈妈吃的时候心情怎么样？心情会开心。
Through such activities, children learn to fulfill their filial duties by putting their love into action. .95% of Taiwan's lumber and paper needs are met by imports, even though the country has 420,000 hectares of Japanese cedars planted for the purpose fulfilling these needs. We now find out why the cedars aren't being used and how the Forestry Bureau and private firms are working together to prevent the extinction of the endemic Taiwan camphor trees.
The fungus found only on Taiwan's camphor tree is said to be able to cure cancer. Currently, the price has been driven sky high, and thus illegal logging is out of control.
Tree thieves cut down the endemic camphor trees down to size in hopes of cultivating the fungus.
Probably in no more than 10 years, Taiwan's camphor trees will become extinct.
To harvest the fungus's magical power, camphor trees have been illegally logged to the point of extinction. Thankfully, there may now be a chance to save them. Thanks to a collaboration between private biotech firms and the Forestry Bureau, camphor tree seedlings have been bred successfully and are now growing on a 3.9-hectare nursery in Taiwan, Miaoli.
These camphor trees have been growing for about a year now. In the future, we won't just grow a camphor tree-only forest. We will mix in different species. This will help the forest flourish naturally.
Now that camphor trees can be cultivated, less camphor trees in the world will be cut down.
After we cut the trees up, we will implant the camphor fungus, so it will grow into a mushroom. If we treat camphor trees as a cash crop, 10 years from now we should have enough raw materials we need to develop the fungus for medicinal use.
Utilizing the resources offered by a forest is a delicate matter.
During the Japanese occupation, the red and yellow cypress on Ali-san were cut down and Japanese cedars were planted in their place. Now, 70 years later, the cedars have grown big and tall, but due to the lack of the tree's value, no one wants them.
By the 70s, when the remaining cypresses in Taiwan were close to depleted and people still wanted to extract what they could out of the mountains, Japanese cedars were planted en masse once more.
But the cost of cutting Japanese cedars and the price you can get for them don't balance out.
Thus, the 420,000 hectares of man-made forests are left to their own devices. But that doesn't mean the country does not need lumber-related products. Numbers show that every year, 6 million CBM of lumber and 5 million CBM of paper pulp are used. However, less than 0.05% of the raw materials are supplied domestically, which means the rest has to be imported.
In the past, the policy was no logging to protect the forests, but that's actually not the right thing to do. We should learn to utilize resources found inside the forest.
Scholars say cutting down forests in other countries has the same environmental impact as cutting them down here domestically.
If we cut one tree down locally, one less tree is cut down abroad, especially in rainforests.
The petrochemical industry creates a lot of greenhouse gases, leading to global warming. To prevent the release of more underground carbon, we will have to rely on our forests.
Cutting down trees is actually better for the environment, because if we don't rely on these renewable resources, we will have to extract more carbon from underneath the Earth's crust to fulfill our needs.
Forests are actually very connected to our everyday life. All the paper products we use, including toilet paper, money, furniture, and even clothes, come from trees and plants found inside a forest. Forest conservation and putting resources to use do not have to be on opposite ends. By properly taking what Mother Nature has to offer, we can benefit both ourselves and the environment.
Next, we meet cerebral palsy sufferer Lin Hongyin of Zhanghua, Taiwan. To express himself and to communicate with others, Lin taught himself the Zhuyin phonetic system and even learned how to compose poems. This is cerebral palsy sufferer Lin Hongyin. As Lin has difficulty controlling his hands, he types on his computer using his feet instead.
我不是明星，只是想让大家知道他们其实很幸福。
To type on the computer, Lin holds a pen using his two toes while using his other foot to scroll the mouse.
His body is often covered with sweat because he has to use a lot of strength to type. He really wants to communicate with others.
Although Lin never went to school, his desire to communicate with others has motivated him to be self-taught. Currently, he has already composed more than 100 poems.
Lin's father couldn't believe that his son wrote all these poems.
In Lin's book, he wrote, "My father didn't believe that I had the ability to write poems because he thought that I was useless because of my condition." However, in reality, Lin Hongyin not only proved his father wrong, but is also a very successful poet.
Lin hopes to be free like the blue sky. He's very creative too. Although he suffers from severe cerebral palsy, he knows what kind of life he wants.
Despite being immobile due to his illness, in the years to come, Lin will continue to document the hardship of cerebral palsy sufferers and to express himself through poetry. Staying in Zhanghua, Taiwan, we now meet an 84-year-old man who has been sweeping clean his local park and community for the past 60 years. Let's take a look.
Having spent the last 60 years sweeping up this park, Senior Zhang sees the task as something he must do every day, much like eating.
It's become a habit to sweep in the morning and afternoon. When I see trash on the side of the road, I also help pick it up.
It all began decades ago when Zhang came to the park to exercise, only to see the ground full of garbage and fallen leaves. Picking up a broom to clean up that day, he has not stopped since.
People ask me, "Aren't you tired of it?" I answer, "No, it doesn't bother me."
The seniors say he feels more at ease when he sees the ground clean and free of debris. He also eagerly helps the surrounding community to clean up as well.
When it's hot, I tell him to sweep later in the afternoon, but he won't listen.
很好啊，系啊，安怎讲？甲大家讲就好呀。
Zhang has been awarded by the mayor of Yuanlin Town for his service and dedication. However, Zhang humbly says he's only doing his part for society.
In Tainan, Taiwan, 8 girls from a local elementary school donated their hair to make wigs for children with cancer who have lost their hair due to chemotherapy. Each donor spent over a year in growing out their hair just to make this donation happen. And although they were all sad to cut their hair, the girls were nonetheless happy to do something good to help someone in need.
4 6th graders are graduating today, and as part of their graduation gift to themselves, the girls have donated their hair to help others in need. The day before, these 4 graduates and 4 of their younger classmates donated the locks that they have been growing for years.
到哪里？
这边。
哦，那么长哦。
对。
留多久了
？4年。
留4年哦。
对。
剪下去的时候会不会很干？
一点。
Oh. I was a bit sad, but at the same time, I was happy that I could donate my hair to help them.
I saw cancer patients go through chemo and lose their hair. They wear hats so they don't have to endure the stare of others. It made me quite sad to see that.
It was Lin Shuhua who planned this activity as she saw how unbearable it was for children with cancer to lose their hair after their chemotherapy. She realized that her daughter can do something to help. Thus, she invited other mothers and their daughters to participate as well.
Normally, when making a wig, there's a set length that is weaved into the scalp area. So the minimum requirement for a hair donation is 30 centimeters, because after it is weaved in, the length is about a short bob.
Actually, it takes hair from 5 to 6 people to complete a wig. The wig's usage is also limited to 2 years of wear and tear. In the end, what makes these wigs so special is the love and care of all those that donated their locks.
It's graduation season here in Taiwan, and there's a private school in Taichung that's doing something different with their yearbook this year. Let's take a look.
Here in Taichung, Taiwan, graduates of Huiming, a school for the blind, hold in their hands a 3-dimensional bust of themselves. I have braids. The other students don't braid their hair, and the printed version is pretty clear. These 3D yearbook portraits are unlike the traditional paper yearbooks of the past, as students can touch and feel their classmates' faces. She has bangs. It's up here on top. Everyone always talks about bangs, but I really don't understand what they are. These students have been classmates for years, but due to their vision impairment, they might not have a clear idea of what each other looks like. The students felt out the different features, like ears, the forehead, or differences in their face. They really enjoyed this experience. No longer just imagining what their classmates look like, these graduates finally grasp each other's facial features thanks to this special yearbook.
We go to Guangdong Province, China at the end of the show, where Tzu Chi volunteers organize a scholarship award ceremony on behalf of 179 impoverished yet deserving students in Heyuan County. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.